The first Monday after Christmas, the first Monday of the year, was Hansel Monday. And you gave them Hansel to whoever you were giving the Hansel to. But the following year, at the same day, you had to return the Hansel, or you weren't going to be lucky for the following year. You had to return the Hansel that was given to you the year before.
When we were young, my mother wouldn't sew a button on a Sunday. She would not take a needle and thread in her hand on a Sunday. So they were so strict. You didn't knit on a Sunday, and it was just a relaxation day and no housework.
Even here in Clonmel, the majority of businesses, they never open. They open on a Friday. And Friday is a great day for anything, they say, you know. But of course there could be all superstition again, we don't know. But they don't open business of a Saturday. Friday is the day in Clonmel.
You never move
What house on a Saturday?
A house on a Saturday. No, move wherever. You stay there until...
Yeah. What day would you move on?
You could move any other day, but not on the Saturday.
Not on a Saturday?
No.
Never heard it?
No.
They wouldn't paint or anything, or they wouldn't, and especially of a Saturday, if you were moving house, no one had moved a Saturday, a Friday. Now, it happened when I was young, my sister was moving into her house, and the woman was going away of a Saturday. She was going to England, they were emigrating, it was way back, you know, and my mother said, now don't go into the house Saturday, you know. And she said, wait, no. They wanted to go in to take over. They were young married. And I declare to God, the floods came a Sunday, St. Patrick's Day it was, and they were back down with my mother again. Yeah, it really happened, yeah, in our own family, yeah. They went in Saturday and they were out Sunday. Yeah, they couldn't stay in the house.
But there was a woman, Jackie Fahy. Did you ever hear him? Councillor Jackie Fahy? Well, his mother, we used to go up for the meal to them, and we'd go up every evening, and they'd be after milking the cows, and she'd bless every churn before she'd give out the milk to the people, and she put a cross on your gallon when you'd be coming away from the thing, Lord mercy on her. And I never forgot her, and Jackie and myself were the only two children on the mountain road, and of course we used to get the best of everything from everyone, you know.
And there was another lady used to come in at home. My mother was in the country, and she always kept her friends. They came in to visit her when we were living in town, but they always came to visit, and that was on a regular basis every week. And one lady used to come in my mother was from Clareside, and she used to come in and she used to have holy water. She'd get a big bottle of holy water, Easter water, and she'd bring it home to put it in all the corners of her fields, and this had to be done every year as well. So we'd get the holy water for her, and there used to be a barrel of holy water left out in the friary in the side path, and we'd get our big bottle, and that would be kept for her, and she'd take it home then to put it on the land and the crops, as she said herself, and certain days then May Eve to sprinkle it in the four corners of the field. And
we did that too.
Yeah, they always kept up that at home.
My wife's people were from Carey, from Kilorglin, just outside Puckfair village there, and any time we were over there on holidays, like when our children were small, and the lady used to come out of the house, Bannon T, the lady of the house, she'd come out and she'd sprinkle holy water on us all and on the car and wish us farewell. There'd be tears all around, like, you know. And off we went to make our way back over to Rosslare to get the boat back to England again with the car, like, you know. And, you know, we were tired and worn out and everything from the holidays and the long drive and that kind of thing, but we never had an accident or a near miss or anything like that. We felt we were blessed by the things, and I'm a man of little belief, like, you know, to be honest with you. And I found it reassuring that, you know, that there was a guidance from some, you know, Taoist or something like that, like, you know, that might be in the atmosphere or something, you know, that we can't understand as human beings, like, you know. But there you go.
And we used to get, in the old days, the blessed turf. They'd light the paschal fires outside the church, and they'd give you little bit of turf, and you'd bring it home, and that'd be a sign that your house would be saved, would never go on fire. That was Easter time, but we still get the water, you know.
Now, another thing they used to do was for Good Friday, you turned, like years ago, people had an awful lot of pictures on their walls. It wasn't a minimalistic look like they have now, and we always turned the pictures. You turned the pictures into the wall for Good Friday. Everything was turned into the wall. And I remember at home we had a wireless in the sitting room. There was no televisions in those days, and my grandmother, Lord mercy on her, she'd cover the wireless completely with a rug. You didn't even see the wireless on that day, not alone turn it on. Good Friday was black. You never saw the wireless that day, and all pictures turned into the wall.
And any eggs we got, we were from the country, and the hens, any eggs the hens laid on Good Friday, you put a cross on them.
Oh, right.
And you ate them on Easter Sunday.
It was very superstitious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it now, really?
Yeah.
And they blessed the corners of the fields, the house with the holy water and May Eve. And they shaken the house, the four corners of the house as well, to shake the holy water. And we had any noises in the house, and shake us up with holy water, and the whole lot to stop. Whatever, the holy water, people believed in the holy water years ago.
The Easter holy water, the people, all the people around at my place, I forget which day or which eve it was, but they'd bless every corner of their fields with the Easter holy water.
Easter Saturday, wasn't it?
To develop good
Mary.
crops and to keep everything fine.
That's right.
There's something about St. Bridget too, and it's before the Eve of St. Bridget.
You hang out a rag.
You hang out a rag.
On your clothesline.
Yeah.
Then St. Bridget is supposed to fly over and bless the rag, the cloth, we'll say. And actually, we still do that. I would never ever. I always put out a bit of ribbon, and you keep it for a year, or you could keep it for longer. But it's you tie it. I heard a story once that a lady she was sewing, and she got a very fine knitting needle pushed into her finger, and it went up. It broke, I suppose. A bit of it went up, and she this must be true now. She put her St. Bridget's rag around her wrist, and the needle came out just below it. Now, and it came out black, and it had been in her in the skin for quite a while. But she put it down to St. Bridget's rag. It didn't go above this blessed rag. So that was something now that really was meant to have happened.
My friend down there, who's my neighbour downstairs, like Mary McCarthy, she tells me about a rag well that was up here just above the town, and young lovers used to leave a piece of their underwear there hanging from the tree, and that seemed to endow them with more potential capacity for passion more than anything else. But I couldn't see the side of it myself, like, you know what I mean? Either you liked it or you didn't, like, you know.
I know if you were going on driving along and you saw a white horse in a field, you turned your money. And I still did that today. Go for the bag straight away, turn your money.
You, what do you call those? Magpies.
Oh, I was thinking about magpies. I salute magpies.
She salutes them, yeah.
And I asked, and you have to say as well, how are you, Mr. Magpie, and how are your family?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
Yeah. She does that.
You get a great laugh at me, but I think you do it yourself now.
I don't.
Do you?
I don't.
Oh, I never pass a magpie without always give him a greeting.
Yeah.
And the other superstition that I keep telling myself not to do it is you check the numbers in a car passing, and if they add up to 7, it's good luck. Or we used to have it as 21, and then I think I remember an article by Hugh Leonard, God rest him, and he said the number 7. But I keep telling myself, no, don't do that, and yet unconsciously, every so often I will do it, and I say, stop that nonsense. But at the same time then she had a cure for warts, and it was that you go out and pick the elder leaves and make the sign of the cross on each wart, and then you put it into a brown sugar bag. At the time there were the brown loose sugar bags, and then you put it into the earth, and when it would rot the bag, the warts would fall off. But the funny thing about it, a girl had her warts done years after, and I said, I know a cure for that. She was after having them off in Cashel, but they grew again. So I told her, and I met her a couple of years after, and she said, look, I have no warts. I told her what my mother was after telling me. And another thing she tried everything for the cramps in the night time, you know, and everything in that. And she put the potatoes, they say put potatoes in the bed. She did that. The corks, she went down to the place where there'd be bottle and she got the cork. No, but the next thing this person told her, whatever shoes you're wearing, turn them upside down under the bed and you won't get a cramp. And it cured her. She never got a cramp after that.
If you had a wart, and I had it, and there's still a little trace of it there, and you spat upon it, first thing fasting in the mornings, for 7 mornings, it would be gone. Yeah, well, I was spitting for years, and I still have a little trace of it there.
They say if you got a bit of wedding cake that you'd put under your pillow and you'd dream of the man you'd marry. But I never done that because I always ate it.
Do you ever hear that, Lena?
No. There you are now, girl.
If you happen to break a statue, you never threw it in the bin, you buried it. Because otherwise you'd have death and destruction and whatnot. So I think before I moved here in my house, we had a number of little graves with statues in it over the years.
And another thing, they always put up on the dung heap, you know, the dung heap that would be in the yard, the maypole they used to call it, and it would have to be a piece of the hawthorn bush covered with eggshells and all, primroses and all this business. That was to keep away any evil.
The
Puka, yeah.
We had the May procession, always, and we'd be all dressed in our communion, and we'd have a basket full of petals, roses, and we'd walk 10 steps, and we'd turn around and kiss the petal and put it on the ground. The Blessed Sacrament would be coming after us, the priest.
Yeah, I remember that already.
Yeah. It was a lovely procession, really lovely. Everybody, you know, it was grand. It was so, I don't know, it's so simple and yet it's so
innocent.
Yeah.
No, I remember dancing.
But you had to have your basket of petals, and you walked 10 steps, and we all turned around and kissed the petal and put it on the ground.
Another one that I heard was that no one would dream of painting a house during the month of May.
Yeah.
That was a real old one now.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, you never use paint during the month of May.
You'd always hide the brushes in May.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the belief is that you have to have 3 feet of the wild nettles in May, and it purifies the blood and keeps you fit and well for the rest of the year.
That's right.
I did hear that, but how true it is, I don't know. But I definitely heard it all right. May is not a month for getting married.
Yeah.
In fact, some fella says every month is a bad month to get married.
Now they say they don't approve of it at all. Oh, there's Lone's gaff.
I heard about eggs was on May Eve. The people, well, Pishrogs really, were afraid of their crops and all that. And there were certain people, only certain types of people, they used to go around with eggs and put them in the drills and whatnot. That meant he'd have a bad crop and they'd have a good crop.
Oh, see.
He'd take the potatoes or whatever was sowed, they'd to develop in his and be good, and theirs would be failures.
I did see it being done up the hill there. I see a man on now 2 cows of a house and a little fire, and that tune down, and the medical, she jumped over it like no one. Jumped over the fire, like small fire, jumped over it. She had to go because there were people at each side, and they kept her going, and she jumped over the fire too. They jumped over the fire. That was for Luke or something. the cow would never go dry or something like that. Something attached to it, all right. That's dory to it, all right.
I remember being told never cut the whitethorn or never bring whitethorn into the house. It was unlucky. So it wasn't explained why, but you just didn't do it.
Yeah, we brought lilac in for the May altar. There was a woman next door who had a big lilac hedge, and we were asked to bring in flowers for the May altar, and that was it. My sole contribution was a bush of lilac, coming in along the road.
Oh, you weren't allowed to go into a fairy fort in a field. No, we were in dread of fairy fort.
Yeah.
We never really knew why, except it was supposed to be haunted or bad luck or whatever. Yeah.
There was a tree in the middle of a field at home, and you only went within a certain distance. I don't know why. You never. So it's bad luck. You get bad luck for the rest of your life if you walked in. It was the fairy tree. It was called the fairy tree.
Yeah.
A child that we did born, they wouldn't be buried in the graveyard at all. They'd have to be buried in the fort. They wouldn't allow the Catholic Church. They'd have to be buried in the fort. And it's very unlucky to touch a thing out of a fort. There was a fort out there, the arcade there a few years ago, and during the big storm, a couple of trees fell there. So this man brought out a horse in a horse box for to haul out the trees. And this man had a horse every day in the wood hauling timber. Brought out this mare. And if he killed the horse, he couldn't get him into the gates of the fort. That's the hope. The boys come out through her. No way went to the fort. He had to bring her home again. Brought her down to work the morning after, down to the wood. Brought her into the wood, hauled away the timber the same as every other day. No, he couldn't get her into the fort. That's a hope.
There was a fort about a half a mile down the road from my home place, and this land had lots of timber, and she told my brother that he could take the timber, but not to touch the fort, not to touch it. No, she wouldn't allow that, she wouldn't allow him. But very bad luck to touch a fort.
My mother was very superstitious. If you broke a mirror, I remember breaking a mirror at home one time, and I remember her putting her hands up to her face. Oh my God, 7 years bad luck. I remember that. I remember that well. I can still see her face.
And they believed that.
Oh, she firmly believed it, and she believed in the banshee. She was McGrath, and she believed the banshee followed the max.
Yeah, but a lot of Irish people did believe, didn't they? Really, I suppose there was.
And if you heard it was a sign that somebody in the family was going to die.
If you heard the banshee.
If you heard the banshee, yeah.
We were farmers, and my father was a big farmer, really, of them days.
Yes.
And we used to go in a nice little boarding to our house, and the boarding went on further to another house. But the man in the other house died just recently. But anyway, my father was out this night herding sheep that were lambing and that, and he had to go back the boarding to go in a gate to the field. And on the way in the boarding, he met this man riding a horse. The man that died just always ride a horse. He met this man riding a horse, and he almost had said good night, Paddy, until he realised he was dead. Well, he got the shock of his life, and he came back in, and he was pouring down with sweat. And that is really true.
Yes.
He did see this man that had died riding the horse in the boarding. He nearly had said goodnight, Paddy, and he was thanking God he didn't, because he says he didn't know what it had meant.
There's up around the Clonmel it happens. This man had a donkey, and the donkey used to be lonely on his own. He used to break into another man's place, And the other man, that man was living down the road. He had cattle and things in the field, and maybe he had a horse or something. But poor donkey was lonesome on his own. And he used to break into this fellow's field. And the man got fed up, and he caught him this day anyway. And he brought him up to the shed, and he cut one of the ears off of the donkey. And the donkey was bleeding so much that he got a vision put down the donkey. So the priest, he now set it off a daughter. he said, the man that done that, he said, he lived a very look. And the next baby was born, a little boy with 1 ear. That's happened. And listen, a couple of weeks ago, a man told me that now, that the child had only 1 ear. See, the way it happened, like, no. He said he could dare have a poor donkey that brought such a lot into Jerusalem, he said. And that's how the cross is on an ass and the donkey's back. Because he brought such a lot into Jerusalem.
This was the Bourke. This was a man. This was the devil, actually, supposed to be. And he went around the night before Halloween night, yeah, looking for children. And if the Bourke put a cross on you, he put it on your cot outside the door. And actually, your cot, apparently I must have been left outside our cottage, but you put up a cottage there today, and it was the very same as the cottage I lived in. And this cross would be put on the door going in, and on the house going in, the way the Bourke wouldn't come in, like, the sign of the cross. So anyway, he got in one night, and he went upstairs, apparently. My grandfather used to tell this one. And he went up along the stairs. No one saw him at all. And anyways, she was giving out the rosary, the grandmother, or the mother, I don't know which one. But anyway, she couldn't get out the rosary pieces to bless him. And she had a bottle of holy water. And she cut the bottle of water and she said, "Snotty nose, I'll drown you," she said. That's how she got rid of the Bourke. So I didn't take any of his ways.
All Souls Day, you know, when we were young, my mother would take out the tray that would be in the gas cooker, and she'd light 12 candles and she'd put it down on the floor. You know, put it down on the floor, but it would be 12 candles for the Holy Souls, and we'd all have to kneel down and say the rosary, you know. This is for all souls, you know. But that's all done away with now, you know.
So All Souls Night, and you did the visits. So you went to the Friary, or we used to Friary because it was the nearest to us, and you did an Our Father, Hail Mary, and a Glory for each person of your family that was predeceased you. And then you did the round of the town afterwards, look in the windows. The windows be all dressed up for Holy Thursday night. And then you went home and you set the table for people that were dead belonging to you, and you left them out food. You let the place set, and you let them food, and you lit a candle, and you went to bed. And you presumed that they would come. Of course, stuff was there again in the morning, nothing was gone. But you did it automatically, year in, year out. And that was the eve of.
Is that the same as your story?
Yeah.
So I know people that when any of them would die, the lights would appear in your garden or the front of your house. Several lights. And you couldn't know where they came from or what they were, but they were there. The lights were shining.
My mother got me go to the all gone now to a woman in this town, and she was pregnant. And my mother, she at a funeral, she said, "Don't go inside that gate, whatever you're doing." Oh, she said, "That's only nonsense. I'm telling you now," she said, don't ever go inside the gate," she said, "when you're pregnant. Now never bring a child inside the gate lying down on a pram. Keep the child sitting up." And they got that poor woman lost her baby. She did.
There was a graveyard, there's still a graveyard over the old bridge, you know, and we were warned that you wouldn't go in there, that if you fell, you know, we'd be playing, but if you fell, that you'd never be cured. Whatever hurt you'd have, you'd never be cured. That was, you know, it wasn't right to go in there, kind of, you know. And that the old people would say, don't ever go into a graveyard unless there's a funeral going in, you know. You know the way people go constantly now, but when we were growing up, we were warned not to go in.
The only thing we were ever taught when we were children was not to go into the Protestant churches. Well, I don't know why, because our religion is the same now nearly, isn't it? You know, it's only when you grow up you say, well, sure, there's only one God. What's the difference for what church you're in? You know, but that's what we were always taught when we were children. Don't go into the Protestant church.
If a Catholic went to a Protestant funeral, they had to stand outside the gate.
Oh dear.
Which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yeah. But I think there was a great thing in confession. I didn't go to church for a long time, but there was a mission in our little church in Dagenham where we lived for a long time. And the priest had a mission there, like, you know, so I said to myself, well, this is it now. I'm going to go to confession while the missioner's there. But I wasn't too bad of an individual, really. So I said to myself, well, I'll unburden myself as much as I can. So I did, and I never felt such relief from 5 minutes chat with the priest in the confessional. I felt astonishingly relieved when I came out, like, you know, I said, geez, this is great, like, you know. But I said to myself, if I go back again on a monthly basis, like, it won't be the same, like, you know what I mean? It'll have to be a few years in it.
Good for you.